And good morning, because I am live. Yeah. My glasses are sticking through my hair. Yeah, I'm live. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. And as you can see, my morning attire looks a little different. Yes, I've got my sports bra on. I've got a hard tank top on. Yes. Reason for this is today it's as we say in the biz, it's bout day. Yeah, we have an away game. I'm gonna bring up my map here. I should have actually done this before. So if you notice my eyes wandering around on the screen, it's because I'm looking at stuff that you can't see. But right around noon, I'm gonna leave here, and I'm gonna go pick up a few people, and we're going to head south, way south, about 2.5 hours south, to the town of La Plata, Maryland. We are going to play the 301 Derby Dames down there at the Charles County Fairgrounds. So if you happen to be in the area, doors open at 5:30. Come buy a ticket, and you'll see me. You'll see my team too, but you'll see me wearing, what I got on right now. I am not playing, and I will not be coaching, but I will be filming. I've got all my film gear actually already bagged up in my gear bag. I hauled my skates and my pads and everything else out, and I threw all three of my tripods, my cameras. Somebody's messaging me. I'm just going to let it go. A teammate telling me about day. So yeah, and this starts a three bout stretch that is all going to be done inside of a month. From here till September 22nd is going to be bout insanity. It really is. We have the bout this Saturday. I just tore skin off my hand. We have the bout this Saturday in La Plata. And then in 2 weeks, on September the 9th, we're heading up to New York, to Elmira, which is about 3 hours north of us. It's not far over the Pennsylvania-New York state line. And we're going to play the Black Diamond Rollers there. And then we're 2 weeks after that. Yes, 2 weeks after that, we're heading out to, I don't remember the exact name of the town, but it's out by, it's out close to Philly. I want to say it's like Pottstown. We're going to be in the Pottstown area or somewhere around there. Probably not. It's probably a little further over. I'd have to look it up. But it's, we're going to be playing Bucksmont, which is a tough team, and they're out in that area. So we're actually going to be heading out there on the 22nd. So, yeah, play today, go 2 weeks, play again, go 2 weeks, play again. And then we don't have to play anything until November the 4th. So we get the whole month of October off. And then our last two games are like literally 2 weeks apart. They're back to back again. So, but this is going to be really interesting because September is just going to be like full scrimmage the whole time. Monday, we'll have our bout review, which means we'll have scrimmage practice on Wednesday because the 3 practices leading up to the bout are mandatory. And it's like more than half of them are usually just scrimmage practice, hard scrimmage practice. But we're going to miss a day because of Labor Day. So then we come in that following Wednesday and we scrimmage, and then they go to bout again. And then so we bout on the 8th. On the 10th, we have bout review. which is no practice. On the 11th, we have another recruitment night. And then on the 12th, we have practice. And then we'll have practice the following Monday and Wednesday for the upcoming, bout then. And then we're done, We'll have bout review on the 24th, and then we can kind of like kick back a little bit. And hope we can celebrate, we pulled those 3 bouts out of the fire. Let's hope for it. Keeping my fingers crossed. I think I won't jinx anything. The 3 teams we're playing starting with today, they're going to be tough teams. So we've got our work cut out for us. And like I said, I say we because I'm going down. I am the official videographer of my league, so I'll be filming. That's why I have all my gear with me. I'm going to be taking everything down. And then, of course, tomorrow, I actually am meeting with a friend for lunch in Gettysburg. Yeah. So, in the morning, I'll probably be uploading everything to the internet. And then that afternoon, I'll have the playlist for it so we can run that at Monday Night Bout Review. And after the bout on the 8th, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but a friend of mine who lives in Colorado Springs is going to be in Ohio visiting her brother. Now, the problem is she's about 6.5 hours from me. And it's like, I can't drive that. But I suggested there's a casino in Wheeling, West Virginia. It's about 2.5 hour drive for her. It's about 4 hour drive for me. And I suggested, if you can swing it, I'm more than willing to meet you out there, meet out there like around noon, which means I would have to leave here at like, 8 o'clock in the morning, which is not a bad deal. I could do that. So it's like a 4 hour trip for me. So it's 4 hours out there, 4 hours back. I could do that. To meet someone that I know pretty well, who's driven most of the way, across country to get here. So, but yeah, it's all crazy. That's why the title of this is It's About Time. It's bout day. We make a big deal about that. It's like, it's bout day. And one of the jokes, of course, is in roller derby, we call it a bout, as in I'm about to kick your ass. Yeah. Yeah. So, but last night I was out. I was out with one of my teammates. Surprise. And first I was helping her gear up. I was helping her get her pads. And then we went and got something to eat at Nito Burrito. And for once, I was actually able to finish it all. Seriously. Their portions are so big. And I was hungry. I hadn't eaten much. So, I literally ate like almost the entire bowl. And she did too. And then we went over to a distillery. We were in New Cumberland. So we went over to this distillery that was on the same block. And we both had one drink and kind of stretched that out. And in fact, she was like, we sat down and she's like, oh, wait a minute. What's the rule? We're not allowed to drink 24 hours before a bout. And I said, well, you're not playing. And I said, neither am I. So, that rule doesn't really apply to us. She's like, oh, okay. It's like, no, they don't make everybody in the team do that. It's like they didn't want you getting drunk and then showing up for the bout the next day hungover. But based on some things I've seen, not with my team, but based on some things I've seen at a tournament, I'm going to say there are some leagues that don't make that a hard, fast rule. Not naming names. In fact, I couldn't because I don't remember what leagues they played for. But yeah, I remember going to a tournament. It was after the Lacey Night Clinic, and I remember going to the tournament the next day. And there were a couple of the women I had clinicked with the night before. They were looking just a little woozy, and I don't know if it was um, from the clinic or if it was from something else. I had the impression from talking to one person, some of it was from something else, Bad girls. Derby girls. If nothing else, we win the after party. That's the joke, If you can't win the bout, win the after party. And by winning the after party, it means, are you the last person standing? Not me. I can't drink like that anymore. I would be dead for like 2 days after if I drank. Like, if I was in my 20s doing derby, oh man, I would be in so much trouble. I would be trashed out all the time. Because I mean, I was in my 20s, I was trashed out all the time anyway. That was a big part of my problem. I was trashed out all the time. I can't imagine like being in my 20s and playing derby and then just like getting blackout drunk after the bout. Though I'm sure that's happened with many a league, but I digress. Anyway, yeah, we got her geared up and then we ate and then we had a drink. And I know you're going to find this really difficult to believe, but we talked about derby the whole time. Go figure it. I mean, really, it is true. Once you get into derby, it does become part of your life. It really does. At least for me. Maybe that's because I have nothing else going on in my life right now. So, derby fills a rather large hole in my existence. But anyhow, yeah, she told me a number of things about stuff that she wants to do and was asking for advice, and I gave it. I tried giving her good advice. I always try to give good advice. But, it's the best way to do things. And then we left the distillery like around 10 o'clock, and she had to charge up her phone. Her phone went dead, and, no slam against women in their 30s. And she's 30 years old. But she's of the generation where if your phone isn't giving you directions on how to get home, you don't get home. So she had to charge her phone up a little bit. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Not a problem. So we stood out on the sidewalk next to her car because it was a beautiful night last night. It really was. It was clear. There was like a full moon out. It was in the low 70s. I mean, it was just beautiful outside last night. And we're in front of a bank. And we're talking derby. And not only were we talking derby, but I was showing her stuff like, okay, here's how you jump the apex. And, here's how you do a hip check. So, stuff like that. And how to do a whip. I had to show her how to do a whip. Now, that was a lot of fun. But we're standing out in front of the bank doing these derby moves off skates. And a couple of times people would walk by us, they're just like, okay, what's going on here? And even she said later, she goes, anyone checks the footage from the security cam, because there was a camera pointed right at us. She goes, anyone checking that footage from that security cam is going to wonder what the hell was going on. I said, yeah, that's a distinct possibility. Yeah, it was so much fun. I love it. It was fun. She got home okay. I sent her a message when I got home. I said, let me know when you get home. And I got a little thumbs up on the message. So she got home okay. She was tired. She's like, I'm falling asleep. I go, get in your goddamn car and go home. Why are you out here? Go home. Get your ass in your car. Go home. I'm probably going to be like that later tonight because I didn't go to bed till about 1 a.m. And then I was up probably around 6 o'clock. So, I've had 5 hours of sleep and I got to drive for 5 hours today and film a bout. So, It's going to be another long Derby day. Yeah. What can I say? I do it because I like it. I love it. I really do. I mean, when I was told, Ariel goes, I got a job for you. We got your job for you. I mean, that was how she put it the other night when we were at practice. I go, okay, what do you want me to do? And she goes, we want you to film. I said, okay, I'll get all my shit together and I'll be there. So, and I'm on the comp list, so I'm basically part of the team. I even said, am I going to get comped in? I go, yeah, don't worry about it. You'll get in. Don't worry. You don't need to worry about bringing money. So you'll get in. So yeah, I'll be set up in the corner. I'm the official photographer. I'm the official videographer. Where can I set up my gear? I'm just gonna take a spot in turn one and Actually, I'm pretty good at it. I was talking to my teammate Red Rum Doll the other night, who she actually had some really good things to say about me. It made me feel pretty good. And we were talking a little bit about things, and I said at some point I'm gonna have to teach somebody else how to film. Because I will be playing one of these days. And I said I should teach one of the freshies how to film. I said I think when we have one of our last home bouts, I'm going to ask if one of the freshies will come up with me and watch how we film, and maybe even let her film a couple of jams, so that when it comes time to pass off the gear, I am passing you the baton, because now you're going to be filming me, and it will happen. I talked to her, I talked to my teammate Bai, I talked to Ariel, and the consensus, I'm in a much better place. I even told Bai about that. I said, I'm not pressing myself to try to make the roster on September. I said, that's insane. I go, those are going to be tough bouts anyway. And I said, even if I did make it, I'm not bout ready. I go, the earliest I'm going to be ready, I think, is November. And I said, and she's like, well, we only got 14 spots on the roster. And I said, yeah, I understand that. And I said, that means that once I do cert, I'm just going to have to show you I'm good enough to be on that roster. And she's like, yeah, that's what you have to do. That's exactly what you're going to have to do. And she says, and it's not going to be a problem, is it? And I said, no, I'm beyond the whole weirding out over shit. I said, I've got, my goals are more realistic. I said, I will certify before the end of the year. I know I will. And if I don't play this season, there's next season. There's the Battle of the Freshies next February. We'll probably have a Rookie Rumble next March. I said, I will play next season. I said, I will get on that roster. I'll show you that I deserve to be on that roster. And she was like, that's what we want to hear. So, more positive outlook. It really is. As I told Summer last night, I said, I spent a lot of time chasing my own tail and beating myself down and doing something I recommended she not do, which is compare yourself to other skaters and then start beating yourself up because you're not like those other skaters. And she said she even got this from Roxy, because she was saying, I love the way Red skates. I love the way Ariel skates. I want to be like them. And Roxy's like, don't worry about Red and Ariel. You skate your way. You worry about you. You skate your way. And that's what I told her too. I said, I look up to Red and I look up to Ariel. I look up to most everybody on our team. I said, but you got to be your own skater. You make yourself the best you can. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Away, it's bout day. Yeah, it's bout day. Yeah, I really can't wait. I really can't. It's going to be fun. This is my first away game, away bout, since July of last year. Yeah, when we went to Two Rivers in Bethlehem. And there was another one that was up by State College, but I was in Oklahoma City at that time, so we missed out on that bout. And I, had several people chide me on, you weren't there to film us. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it happened. I was out, fighting the good fight. Sorry, I didn't film you. So this will be my first away bout in 13 months. And then just like that, going to have 3 away bouts in a row and on the road a lot. Yeah, driving. It's going to be fun. No writing. A lot of plotting, though. I've been doing a bit of plotting, and I know, strange as it sounds, but I've actually been doing a bit of plotting on the D-level novel. I know, Cassidy. Why don't you start rewrite? Why don't you go back and start writing the C-level again? Well, yeah, I'm kind of like, it's not that I don't want to get back into it, but I don't want to jump into it and then go, I don't really want to do this. I'm working myself up to the point where I'm ready to go, and it's getting there. It's not bad to walk away from it for just a little bit. When people talk about writer's block, what they really mean is the writer's exhausted and doesn't want to write anymore. And I think I exhausted myself. And I know the writing is there. It's just a matter of sitting down and actually doing it. So, like I said, I've been plotting out a little bit of the D-level novel, getting ideas down for that. And it's starting to take shape pretty nicely. Doesn't mean you're going to get to see what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm working on that. But I will get back to the C-level novel. It's going to happen. I get so many things. I'm trying to judge what I want to do with my writing, and there's so many things I have to take care of. So many things I have to think about. And to get it done, I want to do it right. I just don't want to go into it half-assed and force myself to do something that I don't feel I might have the enthusiasm for. So, we'll work from that point of view. But the most interesting thing that happened to me this week, was I had a job interview. Now, I don't have any good news to give you on that job interview because let's just say things were a bit sketchy. No, I did not get a job. And I'm going to lay out what actually happened right here. I get an email on Monday. And they're like, oh, you sound like you'd be really good for this position. It's for a benefits, how did they say it? Benefits definition coordinator. It was something like that. I have to look it up. I've still got the email. But it was like benefits definition coordinator. I was like, could that be something like, HR, something like that? So they gave me an opportunity to go to either a Tuesday morning interview or a Thursday morning interview, and I opted for the Thursday morning. And as it approached, I started getting this sketchy feeling. It's like, this is really kind of weird. And they kept the woman who had set it up. I was actually set up on this interview through an employment agency. Yeah. Like a headhunter agency, which made me start to wonder about what was going on as well. So Thursday, I got all dolled up. Really did. Had on my slacks, had on my Mary Janes, actually put on makeup for the first time in over a year. I had full makeup on. Yeah, I look pretty professional. And I get there. Now, right off the bat, I step out onto the floor. And it's an insurance company. And all the alarms are going off in my head right about this time, because I had a distinct impression of what was going on. That's because way back in 1977, when I was 20 years old, someone convinced me that I should try selling insurance. And I actually went to a seminar. They paid for me to stay in Indianapolis overnight, and I went to a class and seminar and all this other stuff. Because basically what they were looking to do was they were looking to, cram everything you needed to pass the insurance examination so you could get your license to sell in the state of Indiana, which I failed by 1 point. Yeah, I missed by one question. I almost had my insurance salesman's license. I missed it by one question. They wanted me to study and take it again in like a month, and needless to say, I didn't have to worry about that. But anyway, it was a door-to-door situation. It was like they didn't give you leads or anything else. It was just like, you hunt down people you think might want to buy insurance. I was like, ugh, God. Needless to say, I'm not a salesman or a saleswoman or a salesperson. Unless it's something I'm really passionate about. As I told another person, I said, I can sell derby. Why? Because I love it. I can sell derby. I can convince you to get on skates. Well, maybe more like I can badger you into getting on the skates. But no, I think I'm really good at selling it because it's something I'm passionate about. Insurance, not so much. Let's face it, nobody really wants to buy insurance. And in the long run, it's actually kind of a con because you pay into it, for most of your life and you don't get anything out of it. It's like I have a 20-year term policy on my life, which is going to run out in about 6 years. And when it runs out, I don't get any of that money back. It's like $80 a month I've been paying in for 20 years. I didn't get any money. I didn't get any money back from that. Insurance is kind of like a scam. It really is. But that's only because everything's so goddamn expensive. Personally, I said, when I die, dump my ass in the woods someplace. Let the cops find it. And then when they say, we found the body of a transgender woman, somebody needs to come and claim the body, is like, no, just fuck it. Have a party in my behalf and let the cops take care of it, I'll pin a note to my body, cremate me. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. I don't want to go through the whole funeral, be buried in the ground and shit like that. That's just ridiculous. So, but anyway, so red flag. And I go in the waiting room and there's 8 or 9 people waiting for the same thing. And it's like, oh my God, yeah, they're looking for salespeople. And that's what it is. So first I had an interview with this woman. I was already sketchy when I went in, and then, she started talking to me. And right off the bat, she misgendered me. So I was like, let's strike one against you, babe. Right off the bat, you misgender me. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is just, it's like a freaking nightmare. So anyway, but I got a chance to freak her out because she's asking me these questions. And she gets to one and she says, what motivates you the most, faith, family, or finances? Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, if you lead in a question with faith, I'm going to say that you and I are probably not going to be a good fit. Another true story. I once interviewed for a position in 1985, 1986 with a trading group in Chicago. They traded at the Board of Trade. And first off, right off the bat, I get there and they're like, we have no record. We're supposed to be interviewing you. And I was like, no, so-and-so said I'm supposed to be here at 3:30. And we went back and forth on that for 5 minutes. I was like, you guys are wasting my time. I've been waiting downtown for 2 hours to see you guys. And now you're telling me you don't have any record of me. So they made me wait 20 minutes. And I don't know if they called the headhunter. I told them who I was working through. And I said, he told me to come down. So then I waited like 20 minutes and they come out and they start interviewing me. They get one of their bosses who looked like he was pissed off because he had to take time out of his busy afternoon. And at this point, it was like 5 in the afternoon. So everybody was shutting down. Yeah, I don't know what his effing problem was. But real quickly, they started laying out what they did. And rather than talk about the job, which was what I was there for, they start telling me about how they're all born again Christians and, and they do religious faith stuff and they do religious faith work. And they're asked, one of the first questions they asked me is, are you going to have an issue with us having Bible study after work? I said, as long as you're not forcing me to come to it, no. I don't give a shit. I said, if you force me to come to it, then yeah, I'm going to have a problem. Basically because I'm not going to come. And they're asking me all these other faith-based questions. And at one point I go, would you like to hear about my programming experience? Because that's actually why I'm here. And they just kept asking me. I don't know if it was like a deliberate thing or not. They were looking, it was like being interviewed to join a cult. It really was. And finally, after about 10 minutes of that crap, I said, look, you can't ask me questions about my faith, or you can't ask me questions about how I'm going to work in an environment where you guys are practicing your faith all the time, because that's against the law. I said, you ask me one more of these stupid questions, I'm going to report you to the state's attorney of Illinois because what you're doing is illegal. And right then, the interview was over. I was just like, well, we don't want to talk anymore. Goodbye. So I contacted the headhunter and I was like, what in the hell did you send me to? And he was like, are you kidding? He says, this never happened before. I go, well, maybe because you were sending people who were like religious wackos or something. I said, maybe they just wanted to get rid of me. I don't know. So anyway, anytime someone starts bringing up their faith at work, I just like turn it off. It's like, look, we're at work. I don't give a shit about your faith. And if you start asking me about mine, you're not going to want to hear the answers I'm going to give you. So anyway, when this woman was like, what motivates you more, faith, family, or finances? I went, none. And I swear, it was like I reached across the table and just slapped her as hard as I could. She's just like, really? I was like, yeah, really? None of that stuff motivates me. And she was like, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I don't have any faith. I said, I don't have any family. And if you're motivated by money, I go, you're boring as hell. I don't want to have anything to do with you. So finally she's like, well, what does motivate you? And I said, self-improvement, making yourself a better person, and in turn, helping others become better people as well. She's like, okay, I'll write that down. But you could tell she was completely flipped out. And she even stated, you're the first person I've ever interviewed who answered none to that question. I was like, glad I could be of help. So, long story short, we get in to this big room where they brought all the candidates in. And they sat me, I was like the third person to walk into the room. And they sat me down in the very back of the room, at the very back table, which I thought was like, we don't want to put the trans girl up where everyone can see her. So that was another strike against them. But I mean, I'd already made up my mind. I was scribbling notes and shit like that. I was like, they're going to send you out on sits. And you're going to be out at like 8, 9 o'clock at night talking to people. Or you're going to be showing up at somebody's house at like 8 o'clock in the morning because they're just now getting off a third shift. And, you're going to talk to them before they go to bed. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't want anyone in my house selling me shit at 8 o'clock at night. which means even though these people are sort of like, yeah, we want to hear about this, but they're not going to be receptive. They're not. Yeah, and they're trying to make a big deal about the fact that we're really successful because what we do is we go out to the clients. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, but I don't want to be out at somebody's house in Reading, Pennsylvania at 9 o'clock at night trying to sell them insurance because they're not going to want to. They're not going to be receptive. You know, it's just not going to happen. And they even stated, if they send you out on an average of 12 sits a week, and they said that was like the average, you're only going to sell 4 policies. So your success rate is only 30%, you know. It's 33%. And that's if you're average. I mean, it's like baseball. You know, a good hitter hits like 380. That means you're getting a hit 3.8 times out of every 10 times at bat. Yeah. And that's considered good. Average hitters are hitting like less than 3 hits per 10 at bat. So this was the same thing. I was like, average is like you sell 4 policies out of 12 a week. And I'm sitting there thinking, boy, that's really ass busting because you're putting a lot of wear and tear on your car driving around all these different places. And you're going to be out at night doing this shit or early in the morning. You know, and it's just like, nah, it's not for me. I mean, I had already decided, no, I don't want to do this. So they told us, well, when you go home, we'll call you sometime between 4 and 6 today. If we want you back for the 3rd interview, we'll call you. So they called me at like 5 till 5. I'm guessing they had to talk a little bit amongst themselves. But, you know, right off the bat, she's like, what do you think about the company? And I said, I personally do not want to be going to somebody's house at 8 o'clock at night. I said, it really makes me feel like, oh, I'm giving up a significant part of my life to go out on sits with not a whole hell of a lot of return. And she goes, well, you know, we did notice that your background was in computers. I said, well, yeah, that's because it is. And I was sent in. I said, I'm not a salesperson. I go, I don't sell. And I said, I can't really sell something I don't actually believe in. So, you know, I probably would not be a good fit. And, you know, she's like, yeah, you don't sound like you'd be a good fit. So she was like, well, have success in your future endeavors. And she even said, are you looking for a job? I said, yeah, I'm looking for work. And she was making it out like, you know, well, you're passing up a great opportunity. And I was like, no, I'd quit this job inside of a week. I would. I'd just be like, nah, I ain't doing this anymore. And I was sitting there thinking, they probably had a dozen people show up on Tuesday for interviews, and we had almost a dozen people show up on Thursday for interviews. So that's 24 people. And they probably kept like half of those. And I'm wondering how many of that half made it through the interview the next day. Because I was supposed, they wanted me to, they were saying, you know, we'll have you come in for a 3rd and final interview on Friday to get you started. So it's like, you know, if your product is so good, why are you going through so many people? And it's not because you're expanding your market. You know, don't bullshit me. It's because you can't keep people. You know, they do this for like a month and they see diminishing returns because you're spending so much money on gas. See, that's where they really burn you. You know, the way they were making it out is, well, you know, you could make like $750 a week. Yeah, but I'm going to spend $75 a week driving around. Yeah, I'm going to spend $75 a week just driving around. I don't get reimbursed on that, you know, because that's what they're going to say. You know, you're not going to get reimbursed. I was like, no. So it didn't work. It wouldn't have worked. It would have been, as Adam Warren once said in a Kay and Yuri graphic novel, it would have been hilariously disastrous. I should go door to door and sell Derby. Would you like to be a Derby player? I'd be much better at it. I certainly would not be real good selling insurance. I've tried that. It's tough. Now I sound like Alec Baldwin and Gary Glenn Ross. Yeah, I used to sell insurance. It's tough. And that is a movie that if you have not seen it, and a lot of people haven't, which is what I find really surprising, you should watch it. It is like, it is depressing because it's about a real estate salesman who are basically going out on sits late at night and trying to sell real estate. And it had an incredible ensemble cast. You had Jack Lemmon, you had Al Pacino, you had Alan Arkin, you had Ed Harris, you had Kevin Spacey before he became big, and then basically was kicked to the curb for being kind of a grabby molester. And you had Alec Baldwin in a part that was written just for him, for like just to come onto the set for 10 minutes and swear at everyone, which is essentially all he did. It was just come onto the set and call them all fucking losers. Coffee, and it came up with the great line, coffee is for closers, ABC, always be closing. Or the famous line when he's walking around, he's, telling everybody what he thinks of them, and Ed Harris goes, what's your name, pal? And he goes, fuck you, that's my name. And just basically belittled the shit out of all these salesmen. Jack Lemmon actually said, and if you know anything about Jack Lemmon's career, he worked with a lot of heavyweight actors. I mean, and he was a heavyweight actor himself. He won the Oscar 2 times, so best actor and best supporting actor. So, but he said that was the greatest ensemble cast he had ever worked with. So that's high praise coming from a guy who was extremely well respected in the industry at that time. It was also like right around the start of Al Pacino's screaming career, where he just completely loses his shit on Kevin Spacey. He does. He just like completely loses his mind on Spacey, and you just sit there, you laugh at it. But it's a movie. If you ever want to get a true feel of what sales is like, I mean, like cold call selling. Watch it. I mean, it is a great film. Depressing as hell, but it's a great film. It really is. Yeah. And the actors on the set also said they used to call it "Death of a Fucking Salesman" because there was so much swearing. Even Jack Lemmon, he had to pop off a few. You could tell he was almost like having a ball because that was something Jack Lemmon never did during his career. He didn't swear on screen, and he was like, "You kiss my ass, buddy." Yeah, he was having a blast. Oh, bullshit. So yeah, watch that Death of a Fucking Salesman, Glenn Ross, and that's how I would have felt. I would have been like Ed Harris's character in Glenn Ross. Oh, let's just break in and steal some shit. Let's just steal the fucking leads. Or Al Pacino, the famous. He just belittles Kevin Spacey so badly in the one scene where he just like rips him apart, and he just belittles the shit out of him. Oh God. See, I couldn't work and stuff like that. It would just kill me. It really would. It would just kill the shit out of me. My soul's already been broken enough in my lifetime. I don't need it broken anymore. So, but yeah, watch Glenn Ross. and just see how depressing sales work is. I mean, none of us want to buy shit, but think about it from the point of view of the people that are actually selling stuff to you and how they bust their ass. I mean, it's just like, there shouldn't be any reason for that to happen. It's just so hard. So anyway, that's been my week. So I know I'm going to have a busy day today. You probably will too. So take care. I will see you next week. Bye.